messed up.
You circled the wrong one.
Yeah.
I take back my smart as a whip comment.
Whatever, dude. You got no idea what you're even
That's
doing over
fine.
there. Let's not revisit that now.
No. You want to bet?
Bet what?
You got the Warriors, I got the Lakers. $5.
Okay. $10 minimum.
$10 minimum. All right, so we got 10 on Boston, Philly, and we got 10 on the only two bets I've made in the last month.
Yeah, whatever.
Live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open, this is Homer and Tony.
In perfect harmony at the 43rd U.S. Senior Open Championship. Well, actually, it's not. That's June 29th through July 2nd. Though I am at Century World, which will be the site of the event. The Hall of Famer Tony Smith is on assignment. He is golfing. So it's old-fashioned sports talk radio, as it was when I first came here. They said they opened the course in 1982, 41 years ago. And I swear I was here. Maybe when Arnold Palmer played, I claim, but someone's going to have to look that up. Tony's not here to say I make it up, but I definitely was here, but it's possible, given that it was that long ago, I might have been at another course. So they had media today, and there was a huge group of media here. Pebble, you want to guess why there was a huge group of media here?
Why was there, Homer? I don't know. I have no idea.
Because you get to play golf. After the gathering with all the information about the U.S. Senior Open, then all the people of the media got to play 18 holes of golf. They went on at 1 o'clock. Let's say there were 150 people here. We'll just say 100. Let's see, 18 times 4. Yeah, I'd say 100. How many do you think would have been here if there had been no free golf after the gathering?
20.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what the answer to that is, because that just tells me what you think of the media. The program was at 11, lunch at noon, and then golf. Everybody went out at 1. I would say no golf. What was yours, 20?
Yeah, I said 20.
20. I'll go with 25. I don't know how many didn't play golf. I would say there may have been just a couple others. Most everybody. And here's the odd part. It never happened before. They have kept the course closed and fixing it up so that it's perfect for the U.S. Senior Open, so that to play golf, you had to take a kind of piece of artificial grass or something, and then whenever you were hitting the ball, you had to put it on that so that there's no divots on the course. So they like the media, but not that much. Tickets will be available, and the organizers from the USGA were amazed at how many people were here, I guess, versus wherever they did it last year with the media day. And it'll be, I'm guessing, a huge crowd. I don't know if they're talking about 50,000. It's not the U.S. Open; it's the U.S. Senior Open, so you got to be 50. But Steve Stricker will be playing, and he's won it a couple times, or once I think. Jerry Kelly's been second a couple of times, so there'll be great interest in. Again, it's June 27th to July 2nd. I'll find out whatever. I'm sure if you just text U.S. Senior Open Century World. Let's see. Yes, USSeniorOpen.com. I'm sure you can find a way to get some tickets. Everybody in the state of Wisconsin should be happy today. Pebble, are you happy today?
Not particularly. No, why? Why should I be?
Well, that's why you need me to do the show. 1-800-990-3776. It's old-fashioned sports talk radio. We will have Jason, but otherwise it will be me and you, whatever you want to call in. I have a number of things to call in about, but this is everybody. There's nobody in the state of Wisconsin that can be sad. You still don't. You didn't even know it, huh?
Nope.
And I missed out, though I did hit correct on my one call, that's all. What if I would have said Christian Yelich is going to hit 2 home runs in a game? Last week I had 1, and I was correct. And this weekend he hit 2. Christian Yelich hit 3 home runs in the series against Kansas City. But more than that, And you don't need to know the specific stats, but for those of you who watched him play in his MVP and should have been 2 MVP season, he was hitting these home runs that looked like they were launched by NASA. Just incredible height. And he just stopped. After those 2 years, it stopped. So not only did he hit 3 home runs over the weekend against Kansas City, but he hit him even higher than he did when he was hitting the home runs in the MVP. So it would be one thing if he hit home runs, but he was still hitting them way lower than before. He hit them higher than even he hit during the MVP season, and now we will see if it's just a 2-day fluke or if, in fact, MVP Christian Yelich has returned. And I say everybody should be happy. There's no one who doesn't like Christian Yelich. I mean, he's not at maybe Giannis's level, but it's the same way. How can you not like Christian Yelich? He's never done anything to irritate anyone other than play like an MVP, win the MVP, get a huge contract, and then become just an average player. So everybody's disappointed in the way he's playing, but not mad at him. So now everybody should be happy because the person that everybody likes might be playing at a level necessary for the Brewers to not just make the playoffs, but be a legitimate playoff team that could maybe win a series in the playoffs. They are still heavily favored to win the division, but are you happy now that you know that Christian Yelich has returned?
Not particularly, no.
Oh, come on. Come on.
But no, I did see that he's really tearing it up in the month of May, but hey, it's the Kansas City Royals. They're one of the worst teams in baseball. We'll see if he can do it against the big boys.
That
and
is
see if he
accurate.
can continue the streak he's got going now.
St. Louis. And people don't know this statistic, don't know it real well. OPS, it's on-base percentage plus slugging. But, if you're 1,000, you're in the Hall of Fame. But his season mark improved, I tweeted it, I think it was 75 or 79 points in 2 games. So he went from like 700 to like 780 in 2 games. That tells you how incredible he was for those 2 games. And the Brewers, I think they're in St. Louis tonight. Do I have that right?
I have to check, but I'm not sure.
I mean, if you're not excited, 1-800-990-3776. Everybody just start calling in and say, yeah.
Yeah, they are in St. Louis tonight. Yeah, 6:45.
Everybody's happy. There's nobody nobody can like. The only thing you can not like about Christian Yelich again is that they gave him this huge contract and then he was playing like an average player. But if he's back to playing at the MVP level, somebody else said to me that his arm wasn't as good the last couple of years, so maybe it was a result of his arm. But if that's the case, it may have been. But this didn't show up until the last 2 days. So he's been playing all season long, and he's been playing average all season long. Just like ever since he was the MVP level. And yet, 2 days, he was so incredibly good, hitting 2 home runs and other home runs, that we'll find out if it continues. And yes, the truth is important. Kansas City stinks. I don't know how bad their pitching stinks. Greinke pitched for him. I don't know if he hit the home runs off of Greinke. He might have. Let's see. Yelich off Greinke. No, Yelich, and then hit one off Taylor, and then hit. So it might be. We got to factor this in, but there's nobody who saw this coming. Of course, if I'd seen it coming, that would have been one of my greatest predictions ever, right? Pebble, if I would have said after last week, no, he's not going to hit 1. He's going to hit 2 in a game.
2 in the same game? Yeah, there's no way.
I do want to let you know, because we'll have Jason Wilde on, and then we'll get to old-fashioned Sports Talk Radio. Purposely have no guests. The listeners are the guests, which you don't generally do anymore. In fact, no shows do anymore because they think people just text instead of calling. So 1-800-990-3776. I pretty much retired from Prize Picks. And then I said, well, that's really stupid. But all I have to do is play when they give you a freebie. And so yesterday, they had a freebie where Embiid, all he had to do was score 1 basket. So anybody, and we Prize Picks are a partner of ours, right? Because Tauscher talks about them.
Correct.
Even he's wised up. He mentioned that yesterday he took the freebie. And then all you have to, the maximum you can bet on a freebie is $25. So as I've explained to people, it's free money if all you want to do is win $12.50. And how is that? Because you're going to hit the Embiid one right. You play it for $12.50. You pick another side. You'll lose that one, but the second one for $12.50, you play the opposite of the other. Which, for example, I didn't know what to take. I should have taken Tatum for points because he only needed 30-something. 30, and he did that almost at the end of the first half. But I thought maybe he won't score. And so I took Horford. Isn't that his name, the tall guy for the Boston Celtics?
Horford, yes.
Yes. I took him to shoot less than 5.5 threes. He was terrible the last game. He only took 2. I thought maybe they figured out that the way they win is by him not shooting threes. So he had to go under 5.5. So the maximum you can bet is 25. So I got 25. Half of it is on Embiid, guaranteed win. He's got to score 1 basket. And now I need Horford to shoot fewer than 5.5 threes. And he shoots 3 in the first half, maybe even 4. And I'm thinking, that's really stupid. I'm going to lose this. I could have taken my guaranteed $12.50, but I got greedy and I'm going to try to win $50. But then the Celtics got so far ahead. What did they do?
They set everybody on
They
the bench.
set everybody down. And when they sat Horford down, guess how many threes he had taken? I had to be under 5.5.
He took 5.
5. And he didn't take 1 in the last, 15 minutes of the second half. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, baby. I'm up $50. All because I took advantage. So my point is this, that if you don't get greedy, then they give you periodically this chance for free money. Free money. And then you can play Prize Picks all you want. They do this periodically. I'll bet they have one for the NBA Finals maybe, or they do it now. Just every day you check Prize Pick. Now, you don't do it if normally the person has to score 25 and they break it down to 22. They're Taco Tuesdays. That's the joke. Now, you need where all the person has to do is score a basket. I've also brought this up because at the beginning of the year, as a contest possibility, they had baseball season. And for Yelich, they had number of times he hits multiple homers in a game. And it was over or under a half, which means all he had to do it is once. I, of course, was going to do that, but did I? Did I do it, Pebble?
You did not.
I did not. I would have just, it'd be over. He already did it. So I've decided that I'm going to assist people with Prize Picks in free money. I got greedy. I should only be up $12.50, but I don't have to play again until they give me another chance at free money. Then I take my next $12.50. I'm at 20. Until wherever I get to, where now I want to try to win. But so there's my tip for you on Prize Picks. I'm $50 up. Now I just wait until. And again, Tausch used to make fun of me because he used to try to hit 5. If you hit 5, you win 20 times your amount. Guess how many times people have hit 5, Pebble?
0.
0. Sucker! If you play 5 for a Prize Pick, just call in so I can call you. Sucker! Anyway, so now I'm up 50, and now they have every conceivable sport. But why would I play? I'm up $50. I can wait until the next freebie. And I can take my $12.50, then I'm up to $62.50. No risk whatsoever. Imagine someone walking up to you and go, Pebble, here's $12.50. What would you say?
Thank you.
Thanks. It's not a big deal, but who turns down free money? They are offering you free money. And do you know, Pebble, why Prize Picks can offer you free money?
They got plenty of it to give.
And people are so stupid and so greedy that they won't take the $12.50. They'll try to turn it into more money. So I'm here to tell you, I actually violated that rule. But then all I have to do This is the greatest odds. Think of this. All I have to do is hit 1, and I get paid 2-1. I hit 1 correct, and my 25 turns into 50. You can't ever get that in anything. There's no gambling on the planet Earth where it's even money. I mean, you get double your money, and it's 50-50. You could flip a coin and get it right half the time. What a country. All right, we'll get Jason Wilde. He's been talking about Mason Crosby, about whether or not he's going to be with the Packers. I listened to Wilde and Tausch as I was coming to Central World, and Tausch is saying, well, maybe Mason Crosby is going to come back. And I texted him. He's gone. And I'll give you 3-1 odds on any amount you want to bet if you think he's coming back. Guess what he said, Pebble?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. That's how you find out if somebody feels really strong. There's no way Mason Crosby's coming back. You don't draft a guy there. They're in a someone said this, and I'm going to tell Jason it, because Jason doesn't like to use rebuild. You know what they're in? They're in a semi-rebuild. They're not in a total rebuild. They're in a semi-rebuild. What is a semi-rebuild? They're rebuilding just for 1 year. And then they'll be back thinking they're going to make the playoffs next year. But this year, it's a semi-rebuild, so you're going with youth rather than if they felt they could make the playoffs, they would keep Mason Crosby. Why am I happy that he's not? Because I have under 7.5 wins, and I guarantee you that kicker's going to cost him a game. And if a game was that important, Mason Crosby would still be the kicker, but he's not because they're in a semi-rebuild. Let's see if Jason likes it. Next.
Stay tuned. Packers reporter Jason Wilde has the latest from Titletown coming up next on Homer and Tony here on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand. Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
That's on Matt LaFleur. You signed up for this gig. This is like Ted Thompson used to say, you got to put your big boy pants on.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
And right now, those big boy pants, he ain't cut for big boy pants. He's a Euro cut, tight fit jean guy. That's where he's at.
Do you have a pair of those?
It's not my deal.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand. It's time for the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spring deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action.
A much-needed weekend for the Crew against the Kansas City Royals at home as they earned the sweep, with the young guys providing plenty of action in the 3-game set, like Sunday's homer for Bryce Terang, putting them up for good.
Swinging a fly ball out to center. Backing up. Warning track wall is eaten. Gone! Bryce Terang, a 3-run homer. Third home run of the season for Terang, and the Brewers have opened it wide open.
Joey Wiemer providing the walk-off RBI on Saturday night. This week it's a 3-game set in St. Louis as the Crew continues to try and hold on to that top spot in the NL Central.
This has been the Milwaukee Baseball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
What are you trying to do?
I want to stand while I work. Standing desks are all the rage these days.
You know these new desks move up and down, right?
What? They do?
Yeah, they're not messing around here.
This is great. Now, only if I had a chair to swivel around in.
Do you not pay attention?
Well, no wonder I'm not getting much done these days.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee.
Trust the auto experts at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. You know us for tires and batteries, trust and care, offering unbeatable deals on name brand automotive supplies and service. Like all Cooper or Goodyear tires, buy 3, get 1 free. 10% off all Fram oil filters. Rewards members save 15%. And 5-quart jugs of Citgo SuperGuard full synthetic motor oil, $21.99 after mail-in rebate. Rewards members save an extra $2. Tires and batteries, trust and care. A Blaine's Farm and Fleet promise since 1955.
Bert Kreischer presents Tops Off World Tour.
I look at my dad, I go, hey dad, maybe we should sit down. I don't think your owl's out tonight. 30 seconds later, whoo, right on top of it we hear, whoo. My oldest daughter goes, Dad, look across the lake at the old man on his dock. There's another drunk, blind old white man just, whoo.
Bert Kreischer live on stage. November 15th, Fiserv Forum. Get tickets at fiservforum.com.
Though Phi no longer drives, he can still fly down the track. Staying fit helps Phi stay flexible in his ongoing fight with retinitis pigmentosa, a blinding retinal disease. But even when the way forward is hard to see, Phi is always hopeful, because he knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding diseases, providing real hope to those fighting vision loss. And our nationwide community of local chapters provides networking and support for people with vision loss, as well as their loved ones. Because the best way to fight against blinding diseases is to fight together. And for Phi, winning the fight against vision loss means seeing new ways to push himself. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Learn more about how you can help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
Jason Wilde is brought to you by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. 18 dealerships, 15 brands, and thousands of vehicles in stock. Check them out at Boucher.com.
Even when I'm at Century World, the site of the 2023 U.S. Senior Open Championship, that'll be June 27th, July 2nd. If you could bet on it, I would bet on Steve Stricker, maybe Jerry Kelly. And let's see, where are the tickets? I think you go to ussenioropen.com. But even when I'm here, even when I'm anywhere, you always want every day of the year information about the Green Bay Packers from Jason Wilde. We do our part, 94.5 ESPN. Good afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon, Homer. A senior open with a senior citizen.
That's
Love
correct.
it.
I saw one of the people that you like. I know you like Jack Bennett, don't you?
Love Jack Bennett.
Yeah.
Love all the Bennetts.
So he's at a table of 10, and I have known him for a long time. He's the only coach that's ever called and was mad about a game I did. Marquette was playing Stevens
That's hard
Point.
to believe.
I know. Only coach ever. He calls it. Jack Bennett's on the line. Oh, got to be something. They had played Marquette and was close enough that Marquette had to bring Travis Diener back into the game, or they might have lost to then national champion Division III UW Stevens Point. And what I noticed earlier in the game, and it was amazing to me, that all their guys had short hair, and I said, every player on this team looks like Pee Wee Herman. And I can't remember. It's amazing. So
Wait, that was what bothered him?
So Jack Bennett calls up and he goes, Homer, I can't believe this is true. Someone called and told me that you were calling all my players looking like Pee Wee Herman, assuming that I think he thought I would say no. And I go, yeah, all your players do look like Pee Wee Herman. Well, but why would you feel like you needed to say it? I go, I don't know. That's just what they look like. Did anybody tell you all the other things I said about your team? Like if Marquette hadn't brought Travis Diener in, Division III Stevens Point probably would have beaten Marquette. Did they tell you about that? He goes, no. But, and this is what I've learned about the Bennetts. This is why they're good coaches. They're like Baptist preachers. They never stop. But then why did you call him Pee Wee Herman? I said, Jack, I told you. They all look like Pee Wee Herman. But I mean, he went over it about 10 times. I said, Jack, I mean, I'll on the next play-by-play, I will apologize to anybody who was bothered by me calling their players all Pee Wee Hermans. But anyway, to show him I like him, he's at a table of 10. All these people walk up and go, hey, Dick Bennett, I always loved your job at Wisconsin. You were one of the greatest coaches ever. I don't know how many people there thought I didn't actually know it was Jack Bennett, but he chuckled. So
that was how you repaid him?
That's how I repaid him. I said, he goes, Homer. I go, Jack, I've been living with you're the only coach who ever complained about Pee Wee Herman. He goes, yeah, I do actually remember that. We were going to win that game. I said, yeah, well, anyway, you didn't remember the Pee Wee Herman part. But anyway, he's a fabulous person. His son, Nick, was on the Marquette staff and was a great high school coach.
Yeah, I know Nick. He's great, too. I would just say this. I don't know when you made that reference. If it was when Diener was there.
A long time ago.
I would just say the drawback is Pee Wee had a bit of a run-in with the law at one point.
But I knew Jack had no idea of any of that. This was before his run-in with the law, I can tell you. I would have never brought up Pee Wee Herman if it had been post. What are you doing in that movie theater. Isn't that the Pee Wee
Yeah,
Herman?
just watching a movie. Yeah,
just watching a movie.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, I listened to Wilde and Tausch as I was driving up here, and you were discussing Mason Crosby. And I don't know that Tausch brought it up, but I said, I'll bet you 3-1. Mason Crosby's gone. He's done.
Oh, he's definitely gone.
Did they make it official, or his wife?
No, I mean he's an unrestricted free agent, of course. So it's not like they have to release him.
Right.
It's just that they're making no effort to bring him back. And again, look, I know I have a reputation, and it's probably well deserved because I spend a lot of time around these guys.
I heard you say that. I don't agree with this. You don't suggest that they bring all these old guys back. You have particular old guys that you think are good enough to help the team.
Thank you. I would that would be the accurate assessment of my opinion. But that's not the reputation that I have.
I can't help other people. All I can do is tell them.
I understand.
And yes, Mason Crosby would help the team win. I believe the other kicker will cost the team at least one game. But they don't care.
So I wrote a story for the State Journal for tomorrow. I think it actually might have posted on Madison.com already. But if you thought, gosh, Anders Carlson, that name sounds familiar. Well, of course, he's Daniel Carlson's younger brother. But I was curious whether or not Packers fans really knew about Daniel Carlson's career arc, because look, so first of all, here is my philosophy on kickers. A little bit like yours on punters. Not that anybody can do the job, and it doesn't really matter who you have, because this is more important than the punting job.
100 times more important than a punter.
But I don't personally believe that you should invest draft capital in them unless they are off the charts, ridiculously special, which it would appear the Bengals kicker, McPherson, qualifies. It's possible that the old Michigan kicker that San Francisco took in the third round, Moody, could qualify. But
I think Mason Crosby, when they drafted him, qualified. Granted, he's at a higher level, but he had an amazing leg.
Right, and he went in the sixth round. His college accuracy numbers not vastly different.
But he kicked them he had 60-yard field goal. I mean, he had incredible strength. Go ahead.
So his accuracy not all that different than the numbers that Anders Carlson put up at Auburn. My point in my belief, and this is not my original idea. This is first of all, a lesson that Ron Wolf learned and never made the mistake again. But other NFL GMs that I would consider friends have said is don't draft the kicker. Don't do it. Because generally speaking, and I've heard plenty of special teams coordinators say this, and I'd be curious when we talk to Rich Bisaccia how he views it, is that I've had special teams coordinators tell me it takes these guys a few years to figure it out. So why have them go through the growing pains for you? Instead, pick up a guy that has been a few places and failed, and then get him once he's kind of worked through all the struggles that he's going to have as a young kicker, and then maybe by the time you get him, he knows what the hell he's doing. And which I think is a completely logical philosophy and one that I personally would espouse.
Well, or with Wolf, when you get somebody young, even if he's a draft choice, make sure you have a backup just for competitive purposes, and that backup was Ryan Longwell, right? I mean,
yes, best $100 they've ever spent on a waiver wire pickup. But my point is that Anders Carlson, he obviously genetically, his being the brother of an NFL kicker, he probably will be okay to good, maybe not great, who knows. Yeah. But my issue would be this, and Daniel Carlson is a great example. Daniel Carlson, now he figured it out quicker than some other young kickers have. But Daniel Carlson was drafted in the 5th round by the Minnesota Vikings in 2018. They weren't that far removed from the Minnesota Miracle and all that other stuff, right? I think that was before that, right? Maybe the year before that. They actually ended up going 8-7-1 that season. But he comes to Lambeau Field, and misses 3 field goals, including 2 during overtime. So they end up tying the Packers 29-29. And the Vikings, in a knee-jerk response, I'm sure spurred on by their impatient head coach, who I think is one of the most brilliant football minds when it comes to defense, but I've never been sure about his head coaching because he seems to fly off the handle a bit. He hated his quarterback and eventually led to his downfall up there. Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman cut Daniel Carlson the next day.
Yep.
Cut him. 5 months after picking him in the 5th round because he missed 3 field goals against the Packers.
It's the Homer rule. I wish, Jason, you can use this one too. It's one thing to be bad. When you embarrass someone, everybody has a different law. When you embarrass someone, the execution of firing, whatever, doesn't make any difference. There's a certain point, and that was they embarrassed him, so they got rid of him.
Which years later, Rick Spielman admitted was a colossal mistake.
Right.
Because Daniel Carlson has gone on to make roughly 90% of his kicks for the Raiders in Oakland and Vegas. And he actually finished that 18th season with the Raiders. They signed him in October. Rich Bisaccia was the special teams coordinator for them. And he got things worked out, and now he's one of the best kickers in the league.
Please understand, we are living another embarrassment. The Bucs owners were embarrassed by the Bucs being the first team ever as a 1 seed, lose to an 8 seed in 5 games. And now we will see if the same thing happens to the Bucs because Mike Budenholzer is definitely going to get a job with another team. So, embarrassing can be dangerous.
Based on how people were responding to me with the suggestion of Monty Williams hiring.
Jason, I wanted to call. Monty Williams is a fine hire. It'd be a fine. And the people that hate him, whatever, that's fine. They're just wrong. He's a good coach. It isn't even a risky decision. The problem becomes that you fired a guy whose numbers are better than Monty Williams.
Yeah, and who beat him in the finals.
Correct.
Yeah, I get it.
But the hiring of Monty Williams would be a fine choice. There's nothing risky about that at all. They may not pick him because there are other options, but those people are just wrong, Jason. That's,
Well, that's Twitter. That's why I only responded to a couple of them.
Yes.
So my point is that going back to Anders Carlson, he may work out great. And it may take him, he may have some ups and downs. In fact, I would predict that he will definitely have some ups and downs. My issue with this is not my devotion to Mason Crosby. It's not my predilection for preferring older players on my roster. It's not any of that. It's this idea, and Tausch espouses it, and I don't disagree with the idea that this is possible, that they could, in a crummy conference and a crummy division, because I don't believe in Minnesota, 11 wins, 11-0 in games decided by 1 score or fewer, that's you're not supposed to do that. And so their 13-4, I think, from last year is misleading, right?
Correct.
But if you believe that this is a team that, with Jordan Love, can still compete for the playoffs and you're not really rebuilding, then going in the complete youth movement that they've done, stave David Bakhtiari, Mason Crosby on a 1-year, $3 million deal with some extra incentives to finish his career in Green Bay so he could play one more season here. And maybe, because he has a proven track record that Anders Carlson, no matter what he did at Auburn, doesn't have, maybe he wins 2 games for you where your first-year starter gets you in position to kick a game-winning field goal.
100%.
And maybe Anders Carlson would miss it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm using the 2008
But Jason, you know the answer. You know the answer to that question.
Yeah, he's old.
Well, no, it isn't what people say. It's what they do. The decisions by Goody tell you that he's rebuilding, though someone suggested to me in a great answer, I think, it's a semi-rebuild. I think they believe that they're going to be good enough for the playoffs 1 year later. A year for the quarterback, a year for the kicker. But their actions tell you, I don't care what Goody says, his actions, and this is a perfect one that tells you they don't believe they're a playoff team. Because if they were a playoff team, it's close, And we all know the importance of a good kicker to a close playoff team. Really important. So,
yeah.
You know, right? I mean,
I can't argue with that.
I know, and I like the semi-rebuilders because I think the team and the organization, everybody's good enough that, all right, you got a kind of this year to play with. You're developing Jordan Love, playing with the young receivers and the defense, and a kicker. You'll see how he does in a year. You could move on to another one like that. But yeah, you could do a column. Forget actions and what those actions tell you. Not bringing in any veteran wide receivers. Nothing to give you that little something to get you in the playoffs, right? Which clearly, even if you're positive about them, it's going to be close, right? So what are the little things you do to give you that close edge? You might get a veteran quarterback, too, in case he got hurt or, you have a veteran kicker.
Yeah, that was one of the texts that we got during the show that I didn't get to. No team that is going to go into the season with Sean Clifford, a rookie fifth-round pick, as their backup quarterback, can claim to not be rebuilding.
Right.
And that,
but again, I want to
push
on you. Can you
that.
go with semi-rebuild? I think semi-rebuild reflects a belief in that. Do I think that the following year they can make the playoffs? Yes. So I don't think that it's reflective of a bad organization or that, that they could have made these moves. They're not really that big. And this helps them. The things they're not doing, don't you agree? They could help them the following year. Like, this is probably Mason Crosby's last year for sure. Right? So he doesn't really give you any value because the value for you starts not this year but next year after this semi rebuild.
Yep. And let Anders Carlson have his growing pains this year so he's better
or
next year.
Stink
I totally
and then you bring
it.
somebody else. Or a young quarterback. I mean, I have two questions about the big red dog. I don't know why they drafted him in the first place. I mean, what am I missing?
They think he's really smart and really tough, and I think they feel like he is. And again, I don't know this. This would just be my own theory.
Right.
That they think he's the ideal type of backup, who's going to be really smart and do all
I thought the guy that was really smart who was the quarterback on last year? TCU or whatever. He was so good. They got crushed in the. And I don't know if anybody drafted him.
I think he went toward right before Mr. Irrelevant, if I remember correctly.
That would be something. But anyway, so can you think on the semi-rebuild? And I think that do you like it at all?
I think a rebuild is a rebuild, and I think the question is just, do you have to tear down to the studs and the foundation, or are you able to do a little bit less than that? And I don't think they have to rebuild the entire foundation. And I think there's some drywall that still can be salvaged and some other aspects. They don't have to rebuild the staircase, etc. I don't think it is a complete, utter Chicago Bears rebuild. But I mean, this is the thing about words. People can call it whatever they want. But if they don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, or they think it's unlikely, and that's why they are willing to not bring a veteran receiver, not bring a veteran quarterback, not keep a veteran kicker, etc., then by your rule about actions, that tells you that they think in some way they're rebuilding.
Right. Yeah. I think the debate to me would be of people if the organization is like, we stink and they're going to make bad decisions. I don't think they're that far away, but there's no way you can argue given the actions. Thanks, Jason.
All right, Homer. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. Man, we went too long, and that's bad because old-fashioned radio today, other than Jason, it's all your calls. 1-800-990-3776. Again, we will probably have one guest. I'll bet we have somebody from the USGA or somebody who can talk to us about the golf tournament, tell you how to get tickets. And a Senior Open is of some significance in a U.S. Open, but it takes of greater interest for fans because of Steve Stricker and Jerry Kelly. You're next.
More Homer and Tony next, live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open on 94.5 ESPN and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain. Hi, it's Tony Smith. QC Kinetics gives people all around Milwaukee back their quality of life by providing much-needed relief from chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, shoulders, or back? QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. No surgery, no downtime, no steroids or harmful drugs, and patients are raving about the results. What does living life to the fullest look like for you? Being able to exercise, walking your dog, enjoying time with your family? Whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Call QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call now. 414-285-3474.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Cousin Subs is spicing things up this summer with 2 new limited-time-only subs and a new shake flavor. Their new Sriracha Ranch subs feature your choice of chicken or steak, blue cheese crumbles, onions, pickles, Sriracha, and ranch dressing, all on Italian bread, and are sure to make your taste buds dance. And don't forget to pair your sub with their new cherry lime shake. All are available for a limited time only. So order yours today at any location, online, or via Cousin's mobile app for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
At Progressive, we know how much you love your recreational vehicles, so we decided to record this commercial in an RV.
With a family on vacation.
Mom, who are these people?
Oh, that's Flo and Jamie. They're recording a commercial, sweetie.
Don't they do that in the studio?
Normally.
No.
But we wanted to feature a family who bundled their home and RV and saved with Progressive.
Yeah, it looks like you're all out of chips.
Okay, I think we'll just drop you off at the next gas station.
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Wow, Total Wine really does have everything. I found a great Prosecco for under $8, your favorite Cabernet, and Ruthie.
Ruthie?
Hi, that's me. What can I help with? Oh, thanks for recommending that amazing French rosé. And I can't believe it was under $7.
I know, right? You can't beat that price.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Let's grab some more. So glad we found Ruthie.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Watch PGA Tour champions, including tournament host and Wisconsin native Steve Stricker, at the American Family Insurance Championship when it returns to University Ridge Golf Course in Madison, Friday, June 9th through Sunday, June 11th. AmFam Champ Week will also include an exciting concert featuring Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line, Friday, June 9th. Proceeds will support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and the American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com. That's amfamchampionship.com.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
I was born in a city where the winter
Fisco
nights don't
Auto
let me
Body.
sleep.
I tell you about them. I'm the only one who does promoting someone that mentions this. I tell you about them because you're like me. I've been doing this so long, and everybody who listens to me, those that don't listen to me, I'm sorry, I can't help you. There's nothing better than Fisco. You have an auto body place forever. Forever. It's not what they do, it's who they are. It's a family business, so that by the time they're doing it for you, they start doing it from, I haven't ever asked them, I'm going to have to, like 3 or 4, and by the time they're fixed, they're just so good. It's scary. So I tell you what, Fisco Auto Body, so you go there, then you like them, then you thank me, it helps my reputation. Yes, I'm selfish telling you about Fisco and Fisco, just to help you remember the name.
You're listening to Homer and Tony live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open on 94.5 ESPN and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
A huge contingent here at Century World for the 43rd U.S. Open Media Day. Why did so many people come, Pebble? Tell them so everybody knows.
For the free golf.
Free golf. They started at 1 o'clock. I did not play because I thought, well, Tony can play. He's better than I am. And then tomorrow he can tell us what the course is like. The event itself is not until, let me get the exact dates, June 29th, July 2nd. And as I said before, I don't know where you can gamble on this because of the U.S. Senior Open, but Steve Stricker would be a bet if you wanted to let her better valued. Jerry Kelly. So people are going to – they've never had so many people out for a U.S. Senior Open. If you watch Senior Tour events on TV, there are not a lot of people there except for the one in Madison. People love that. And this will set a standard for attendance at the U.S. Senior Open that will be the largest crowds ever. And I don't know how long it'll take before someone beats it. But so we may have someone to talk about the specifics. June 29th, July 2nd. And they've closed the course down. They're making it perfect. They won't even let the media play. Put a divot on the course. You have to have a little artificial grass to put the ball on before you hit it from wherever you hit it and go from there. Which is not why I'm not playing. Because if we both play, then nobody does the show, and we can't promote the U.S. Senior Open, and then I can't wait to hear what Tony has to say about the course when he comes on tomorrow. All right, this is old-fashioned sports talk radio. That means me and the callers. Chef Ed, you're on 94.5 ESPN.
How's it going, Homer?
Living the dream.
Your conversation with Jason reminded me of the fact that, remember Goody in 2018 when he wasted draft picks on a punter and a long snapper?
Yeah, I said today I would have fired him. Fired him. But now, what's his name? Belichick did it this year. It tells me he's lost it. And I had not thought of Jason's response on what you do with kickers, and that is you let them fail somewhere else. You get them after they've had a couple of years of experience. And but either way, I mean, punter and long snapper is just idiotic. Because, again, understand what Ron Wolf said. It's very hard, so the more picks you have to draft, the better chance you have of getting good players. So
Homer, on the Yelich thing, it's not only the fact about those tall, towering, majestic home runs. The fact that he's going to left field, 2 of his home runs went to left field, he's going the opposite way. That shows me that he's taking the ball the other way. He's going with the pitch. He's not pulling everything.
He has been going
more comfortable at the plate.
Right. He has been going more opposite field this year. But, I mean, prior to the 3, he had like 6. I think with the first 2, he had 6. He didn't have that many home runs. And his play prior to these 2 days has been just what it's been, and that is average. And everybody's sad. And now, as I said, not only hit 3 home runs, but he hit them further up in the air than he was doing during the MVP. So we will watch, and it is literally perfect. Like what he did is perfect for the hope that he can return to the level he was once as, because they desperately need it in order to be a good enough team to actually win a playoff round. Doesn't it? You don't have anybody getting in there mad at Yelich. You know, I think if some people are mad, they're mad that he's not better than he is. But how can you not like Christian Yelich? What is he? He's like the Mr. Rogers of baseball.
Yeah, he kind of struggled when he got his kneecap, injured pretty bad. He kind of struggled, I don't know, he's gun shy at the plate or whatever, but he seemed to be coming back out of it, which is good.
But that has continued. I mean, I don't know how many years you have it. That has continued for, I think, what are we at? This is the 4th year since his MVP and then second, 2020. I think it is his 4th year. I'll have to look. And this is the best 2-day stretch he's had in those 4 years. I guarantee it, both in terms of home runs and in terms of hitting the ball up as high as he did when he was hitting home runs. You're happy, right, Chef Ed, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited about it. And I think I'm taking the Brewers. I bet the Brewers to take 2 out of 3 against the Rays in a big showdown this weekend, because Tampa Bay is having a great season so far. But I like the Brewers 2 out of 3 in Tampa this weekend.
Oh, I'll take you on that bet. You've gone off the top, Chef Ed. Come on, let's not go crazy.
Why?
On the road, 2 out of 3. Now, all right, we'll figure out what to bet. Thanks, Chef Ed. 1-800-990-3776. Jim in Glendale, you're on 94.5 ESPN. Are you a better guesser coming up?
Good afternoon. I don't think the Packers' calculation is entirely based on Longwell's field goals, even though I don't think 50 yards or more is all that great anymore. I think that his kickoffs have been kind of poor for about 4 years. He's barely getting the ball to the 10-yard line. You have to cover these kicks. Bisaccia probably doesn't like that he's got to cover it with giving people that much of an advantage.
Yeah, I think that's
not even
possible.
getting it
I
to the
haven't looked
goal
at all
line.
the numbers, but I would tell him and tell anybody that's nothing compared to the accuracy of making field goals. Field goals
Well,
wins
that
games.
field position can kill you, and you can also give up some touchdowns.
I just think you're overselling it. Yes, field position. I'm not convinced. And I know they don't want to have two different players to kick it off. So there could be
Well, I
something
mean, they
to-
tried to do that last year. You can't use up 2 roster spots
Correct.
on that.
You're right. So my answer is you give me a great guy making field goals, and I'll take the problem of I'll look that.
Well, I
stuff
know,
up.
but I think they probably don't think that he can make the distance anymore either on the kicks, on the field goals, and between the
Right, my
field
answer
position.
is,
They're
hey,
just ready to
Bisaccia,
move on.
get a decent kickoff return team and hold them. It shouldn't be that hard. All you have to do is keep them within the 25 where they get it. I mean, come on. You just
Well, I'm sure money is also involved in it because of the salary cap.
No, I don't. If they thought they were close to it being a playoff team this year, there's no way they'd get rid of Mason Crosby because they know the importance of game-winning kicks. They don't think they're going to be that close. If we're not going to be that close.
I don't know. I don't think I'm not. I think Detroit will go backwards because I don't think they know. Get used to winning.
Right. Let me ask
I mean,
you
we
this,
almost
Jim.
won that game. We almost won that game as bad as we
Jim,
played.
if you
just make
thought-
one more play.
if
they
you
played
thought-
perfect and we were terrible.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. But okay,
And
you're the
Minnesota's
GM.
going to go backwards.
Fine.
And the Bears aren't going to be that much
So
better.
so
it's possible to come in second or first in the
Well,
division.
do you think the Packers are close to winning the division? Because if you do, you'd bring Mason Crosby back, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know. I've been disappointed in Mason's kickoffs for a few years myself. I don't know what they're thinking, but I just think it's a possibility.
That's like getting a steak dinner and being mad because the carrots aren't good, but the steak is great. Come on, Jim. Think about this. I'll let you call back tomorrow. Think about this. The importance of a guy making field goals versus a few extra yards on the kickoffs. If your damn special teams are any good, and we'll get Bisaccia on. If you were doing your job, I think you should be able to hold them within the 25, even if Mason Crosby isn't kicking them as far. All right, are you a better guesser? Next.
Call 800-990-3776. Are you a better guesser is next here on Homer and Tony on 94.5 ESPN.
Gabe Neitzel here on the tee, coming up on Monday live from Aaron Hill. Stephen Watson and I going to explain exactly why it is such a special place to us, why we love it, what makes it so special. Plus, with the second major of the year coming, we will preview the PGA all live Monday at Aaron Hills. It begins at 6 p.m. right here on 94.5 ESPN.
On the Tee with Gabe and Steven, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Mondays at 6 on 94.5 ESPN.
All Brewers games are on sale now, including a Memorial Day weekend showdown with the Giants, Thursday, May 25th through Sunday, the 28th. Start the long weekend right at Aloha Friday on the 26th and get a Brewers Hawaiian shirt with a special ticket package. Then take home a Christian Yelich patriotic jersey giveaway on Saturday, the 27th, presented by Chevrolet. Get your seats at Brewers.com.
Over the past year, we've been hard at work improving our sales processes, expanding and remodeling our facilities, investing in new technology, and continuing our commitment to serve our customers, employees, and community. That's why at Boucher, when our customers leave the dealership, we hope we've made a customer for life. Whether you're in need of a new vehicle, are stopping in for routine maintenance, or are in need of collision work, we will be here to help. With 20 locations throughout southeastern Wisconsin and 30 brands, we've got thousands of new and used vehicles for you to choose from. Our dedicated employees have been named a 2022 top workplace for the past 11 years, and we always have been and will continue to be family-owned and operated. proud to be your Wisconsin family dealership group since 1977. Visit us today at Boucher.com.
Kessler's is famous
nationwide
for diamond engagement rings. But what most people don't know
is that Kessler's is equally amazing at wedding bands.
Engagement rings come in thousands of styles.
But not all engagement rings
come with a matching wedding band. No problem.
No problem.
No problem. You heard the part about equally amazing wedding bands, right?
That's real. We are amazing at wedding bands.
We have a wedding band that is going to look fantastic.
Fantabulous.
Incomprehensibly good.
With your engagement ring.
It's going to look really good.
Ricky.
I prefer Rick.
You need to work with us.
Yeah, Ricky. Work with us.
Seriously, you're going to be extremely happy with what you find at Kessler's. Our sales associates are good at helping you find the perfect wedding band.
Much better, Ricky.
I prefer Rick.
Yeah, Ricky. Much better. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Milwaukee baseball games. All those reliable sights, sounds, and smells. You know, like friends, laughter, and the sweet aroma of meat in the air when we tailgate. Speaking of reliability, you can count on Evans Transportation for accounting, shipping, and tracking needs for manufacturers. Just like the boys in blue always give us blazing fastballs, dingers, and high blood pressure in the late innings. We hope to see everyone at a game this season. And go Crew from Evans Transportation in Brookfield.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Homer and Tony on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
It feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, White Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
It is a special Homer and Tony show at the 43rd U.S. Senior Open. It's at Century World. He's out playing golf. So he'll tell us tomorrow what the course is like. Both of us couldn't play because I wanted to be here to talk about it. The event is coming up June 29th to July 2nd. We'll be talking with somebody from the USGA in a couple of minutes, Hank Thompson. I said I was just going to tell everybody he's the president of the USGA. Who's going to know? Nobody in this audience knows who's the president of the USGA. Pebble, do you know who the president of the USGA is?
Yep, Hank Thompson.
Hank Thompson, yeah. All right, Scott, you're on 94.5 ESPN. Are you a better guesser? What's your resume? How many times have you been champion of this great competition, Scott?
0. Second time calling.
Second time caller. Now, we had two winners from last week, right? Because I made a mistake on Friday, and we had two. Is that right, Pebble?
We did, but the second one never called back. So,
well, tell him again. Who was it? What was his name? Tell him again.
That I can't remember either.
So if you won Friday, you'd only be, well, I don't know. We'll try to figure out. Somebody wants to scam us for the 50. What's on the line, Pebble?
Entry into a drawing for a $50 gift card to Mars Cheese Castle, which we will draw 1 week from today.
All right, Scott. How old is the oldest winner ever of the U.S. Senior Open? 57, 60, or 63? The oldest winner ever of the U.S. Senior Open, which will be at Central World again coming up on June 29th through July 2nd. 57, 60, or 63. What do you say?
60.
60 is the guess. Pebble, this doesn't matter because you're no longer in competition.
No competition, sorry to say. But I'm going to go 57, Homer.
You are going to go 57. And why are you going 57?
Because people's skills tend to diminish as they get older, so I will go with the youngest variety of the possible options.
I could 57. Ask Hank Thompson, and what is his position again with the USGA? He's president? All right. But I have it right here, and Pebble, you nailed it. The oldest winner is 57. It used to be you had to be 55 to be in it. Then they dropped it to 50. But, yeah, if you don't win it early, you're done. Because then other younger players are coming up. The oldest winner in 2006, you've never even heard of him probably. You ever heard of Alan Doyle?
Never heard of him, no.
The youngest champion, Dale Douglas, right at 50. So, and I don't know. I mean, Stricker's won it. Jerry Kelly twice. They're, the toughest players are the ones that generally just turned 50. So if you, I wonder who'll be the, who's old enough that could be the oldest this year. We'll have to look that up. But sorry, Scott. All right, Hank Thompson. We'll find out if he is, in fact, the president of the USGA because I'll ask him. And he'll tell us all about the U.S. Senior Open, which I am certain will have the largest crowd ever in the history of that tournament. We'll find out what the largest was to this point. At Century World in Stevens Point, Hank is next.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Homer and Tony's coming up next here on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt, make it a ticket. A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt during a crash may not make it home. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
We're recording this Progressive commercial on a real boat to let people know that when you bundle your home, boat, and other vehicles...
What was that, Flo?
Progressive saves you money, Jamie!
Why are we doing this on a boat?
We were going for authenticity!
We're going to the city?
Authenticity!
You mean Atlantic City? But we're not in the Atlantic! Are we?
Bundle your home and other vehicles with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Discount not available in all states or situations.
A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt may get a ticket. A driver who isn't wearing their seatbelt during a crash may not make it home. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
So, I have a question for all you guys out there. Why is it that I see you hauling all kinds of stuff in your trucks? Lumber, ATVs, furniture, and everything is strapped down tight. Except you. I mean, come on, fellas. You're just as important as your buddy's blue plaid sofa. Buckle up.
Pickups rock. They also roll. Buckle up in your truck and arrive alive. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Hey, yeah!
This is Homer and Tony.
Oh, baby. My place in Chile, that is the driest city on the planet. Rain per year, 0.03.
What?
I said it was 0.001. The correct answer is 0.03.
How are you blowing that?
I blew that.
How?
Circled the wrong one. I just messed up.
You circled the wrong one.
Yeah.
I take back my smart as a whip comment.
Whatever, dude. You got no idea what you've been doing over there. Let's not revisit that now.
You want to bet?
Bet what?
You got the Warriors, I got the Lakers. $5.
Okay. $10 minimum.
$10 minimum. All right. So we got 10 on Boston, Philly, and we got 10 on the only two bets I've made in the last month.
Yeah, whatever.
Live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open, this is Homer and Tony.
In perfect harmony. I'm Homer, and at Century World in Stevens Point because it's the site of the 43rd U.S. Senior Open Championship. And again, that'll be June 29th to July 2nd. It's Media Day today where there are 100 people. We decided there'd be 25 if it didn't include free golf. But true of everyone. I'm joined now by Hank Thompson, who we have called the president of the USGA, but we don't actually know that he is. Just thought, hey, who's going to know? Hank, welcome, and are you the president of the USGA?
Thank you. No, I am not the president of the USGA.
Do you want to tell us who is?
Yes, that's Mr. Fred Propal.
Okay, all right. But I know you have a position with USGA because you were up there with the important people talking about the event.
I am the senior director of the U.S. Senior Open Championship.
All right, now for the golfing people we have, All we know about people in the USGA is that they're all crazy, and they make the U.S. Open as hard as possible to make players play horribly, but we don't know if they do the same for the Senior Open, and I don't even know if that theory is accurate, so you can address both of those things.
Well, we try to set the golf course up to determine the best player that week.
Okay.
And conditions likely are more difficult during the week of the Senior Open than it would be on a standard week-to-week of a Champions Tour event. So maybe a little slightly more narrow fairways, taller rough, maybe green speeds are a little bit faster, but a lot of times that is ultimately dictated by Mother Nature.
But you believe it's fair?
I believe it's fair.
Okay.
But let me tell you this. My responsibility is outside the rope line. My colleague that you saw up there with me, Ben Kimball, he and his team are the ones that set the golf course up and conduct the actual championship. I just get to have fun on the outside the ropes and make sure people have a good time. He deals with 156 players that are in the field.
What do you want people to know about the U.S. Senior Open? And again, it's going to be here at Century World Stevens Point, June 29th through July 2nd.
Correct. We actually, our week, those are the actual championship dates. So the June 29th is the first round of the championship on Thursday. We actually open the gates to any ticket holder on Tuesday, the 27th. So first and foremost, players that are coming in have the opportunity to play practice rounds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And it's a great time starting on Tuesday for families or anyone who just wants to come out and have a casual day on the golf course to come out and watch practice rounds. Players, generally speaking, are a little bit more receptive to saying hello and that sort of thing. But once they get into
Excuse me, wait a minute. They're way more receptive. I mean, on the tour, the U.S. Open, they're not talking to anybody.
No.
They'll be talking.
For the most part, these guys are very happy to be here and have an opportunity to compete again. So, but that's the biggest thing. We have tickets available, USSeniorOpen.com. Love for people to go and take a look. There's a number of different opportunities. Our youth ticket policy is fantastic with kids 17 and under complimentary with a paid or ticketed adult. So it can be a very fun family atmosphere. Hopefully Mother Nature plays along really well, and we have a great time.
Talking with Hank Thompson, he's not president of the USGA, but if you asked our audience, they would make you president.
Well, your audience is the best audience ever.
Yeah. I also am stating, fact, this will be the largest crowd ever for the U.S. Senior Open.
I hope you were right.
I don't know what.
My colleague Brian DePasquale and I, we were just on the break talking about that. We're probably thinking 2013 in Omaha or Des Moines in 99.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's not,
it'll be a close third.
No,
right?
you can feel free to say, hey, this is where I'm. Wisconsin people are incredibly golf supportive.
And they are.
As you would know from the AmFam in Madison. But it's different when you have two locals that have a chance to win, especially
with Stricker coming off of his win this weekend.
And Jerry Kelly is an incredible story of he was good as a pro, but, man, he's really rich now.
he's had a good career on the Champions Tour.
I talked to him years ago. I haven't talked to him in a while, but I'd be curious to what changes where somebody just elevates. Granted, things change when you get older, but he's just really good.
I think he worked really hard on the young guys tour, if you will.
Right.
And then when he was able to get on the Champions Tour, he was able to compete and have fun, and he won a lot of events and continues to win and compete on a weekly basis. So that's important to him. And
am I correct that Steve Stricker would be the favorite? He's probably the favorite in every scene. Bernard Longer was the favorite for like a decade.
Well, he's still
very good.
Yeah. I don't know who the favorite would be. The last 3 or 4 years, our champions that have won have been competing in the Senior Open for their first time. That might not mean they were 50. They could have been competing for the first time as a 51-year-old.
See, Pebble, you were right. Age is a killer. You better win when you're young.
You better get it young.
Better
That's
get
right.
it young. Yes, Padraig Harrington won last year.
That's right. And Jim Furyk won in his first attempt in Omaha in 21, and then Steve Stricker won in his first attempt at Notre Dame in
Kelly, I think,
2019.
Has been twice, a couple of times.
Kelly has not won.
No, right. I think second.
Yeah.
All right. Have you been able to play the course? And, this course is legendary, but I don't know that people have talked about it much in recent years. And this is, to me, a reopening or like Century World 2 for people to elevate it, given all the other great courses in the state.
Correct. The state has incredible golf, which is amazing. I've only played Century World one time, and that was last July, and thought it was fantastic. And that was, shortly after they'd reopened from a small renovation and doing a little bit of work to the golf course. And I think unfortunately, you got stuck here with the headset on. Your buddies out there.
They told me I get to play sometime later in the year. That's fine.
But they've got a great day out there, and the golf course looks fantastic.
What will be the toughest part for the players to deal with, given that it's a U.S. Open? That means something's going to make this course hard.
I think if you miss a fairway or if you miss a green around with the long rough, I think that's going to be a challenge. As thick as it is already, it's going to get thicker as we go, and depending upon the weather, it could get very difficult to play out of.
People were saying it's pretty high now. You're going to cut it before the end of June?
I think it'll get cut a couple times before June, yes.
All right. Well, it's great, and no one knows how. How does Century World get picked?
Well, first of all, they invite us. We come out and take a look at the golf course, solely look at the golf course from a competition perspective and make sure it can test these players. And then after that, we look at the other areas of the golf course. Is there enough room to build grandstands, concessions, some of the structures you've seen being built today for hospitality and other fan experiences? But then also look at, the local area. Are there enough hotel rooms to provide hotels for the players?
Are there?
I think so, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
And ultimately, once that's done, we determined that we think we can have a championship here. Now, you had the girls' junior here in 2019, which was another great litmus test of not only the golf course, but also operationally, can it work? Is there parking close by? Is there enough to get people here to see it? And it certainly passed with flying colors in 2019. And now we're moving on to the Senior Open and looking forward to a lot of people on site each and every day and having a great champion come Sunday night.
All right. If people want to get tickets, where do they go?
USSeniorOpen.com.
And if people want the cheapest price and the best price,
USSeniorOpen.com.
USSeniorOpen.com.
Yes, sir.
And then there's, like you said, an ability to you can come for much less early in the week.
Our practice round tickets for an adult is $25. Our championship round tickets are $50. Again, kids 17 years of age and under are complimentary with a paid or ticketed adult.
What's the play? Because the play starts Thursday. Different places. Is everybody practicing Tuesday and Wednesday, or do they have pro-ams?
No, we don't do pro-ams, but there are practice rounds. Our practice rounds start just like the first tee times on Friday and Saturday, Thursday and Friday will start at 7 a.m. The first, take the field of 156 players, split it into, you have a morning wave and an afternoon wave. So if you play in the morning on Thursday, then Friday your tee time will be in the afternoon. Right. But in practice rounds, they can go at any time.
Right. So for me, someone's cheap that's going to shop at Aldi on my way out of town.
Yep.
I would think I have to figure out Tuesday or Wednesday. You
can get here at 7 a.m. and
they're going to be playing. They're going to be
playing all day. Yes, sir.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And you always get the last word, Hank. Whatever you want to say, take it away.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you want to tell people? You guys
just come see us at the Senior Open. It'll be a great family event. If you want to come out with your buddy, bring a foursome, come out and have a good time. I promise you'll enjoy it.
And if you run into Hank Thompson, will you have like a sticker on that'll say who you are?
It won't say president.
I know, but that's what you can say. I heard you. I was listening. You are president of the UGA. I just want that to happen once. Thanks for giving us your time.
You bet. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Next.
More of Homer and Tony next on 94.5 ESPN.
Pretty good ride shaping up. Just a little bit heavy on the westbound 94 side. Not too horribly bad, though. It's just going to be slow from about 27th Street through the Stadium interchange. Southbound 41, a little slow from Silver Spring down past Hampton. A little bit from Capitol down to about Burleigh. Southbound 43's got some slowdowns from Silver Spring down to about Hampton Avenue. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm, slight chance of showers in the evening with a high of 78, but turning much cooler in the afternoon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Football, family, and whatever this is.
Jordan Love, he could have put their feet to the fire and said, guarantee me $20 million in 2024, or don't give me the option. And if I show out, then you're going to have to pay me $40 million a year, or $35 million a year.
They went from having the back-to-back MVP to now, well, we are committing to you, but we don't really believe in you, but we believe in you.
Listen to Scalzo and Brust weekdays from 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Doc Rivers and his future with the Philadelphia 76ers, that if you talk to anybody or anybody thinking they're in the know,
could be very murky right now.
You got to sit there and say to yourself, here's a guy that has blown leads historically in his career as a coach. So people are now sitting there saying to themselves, what's going to happen to Doc? They had a championship-type team, so to speak. People thought that they would be in a position to maybe get to play Miami in the Eastern Conference Final. They was up in this particular series, and then look, they blown it, got into a 7th game. They go back to Boston.
Right.
Jason Tatum has a historical moment, sends them home packing. So now the question is, what's going to happen with Harden? Is he coming or going? What will Joel Embiid feel like? What will people feel about him, including Doc Rivers with 2 years left on his contract? So, I mean, I think he should be back, but I don't own the team.
O'Reilly. Did you know 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced? O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery needs to be replaced, our professional parts people can help you find the best Superstart battery for your vehicle and budget. Don't wait. Get your battery tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, get a Flex 24-volt half-inch drill driver kit for only $99. Was $179. That's a savings of $80. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. About from 3/20 to 7/20 while supplies last. U.S. only. Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase.
Gabe Neitzel here on the tee, coming up on Monday live from Aaron Hill. Stephen Watson and I going to explain exactly why it is such a special place to us, why we love it, what makes it so special. Plus, with the second major of the year coming, we will preview the PGA all live Monday at Aaron Hills. It begins at 6 p.m. right here on 94.5 ESPN.
On the Tee with Gabe and Steven, presented by Wisconsin Golf Trips. Mondays at 6 on 94.5 ESPN. This is Homer and Tony live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open on 94.5 ESPN and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
My thanks again to Hank Thompson of the USGA. Pebble, I have no idea what his title is. Do you remember what his title is?
I thought it was Championship Director.
Okay. All I know is we called it President of the USGA. Yeah. All I want is one person to see Hank Thompson. He's bald and he's short. Aren't you president of the USGA? Just one. And again, June 29th to July 2nd. 1-800-990-3776. The Hall of Famer Tony Smith is on the course. It's media day for the U.S. Senior Open, but I wanted to have somebody here to talk about it, and that would be me. And I wanted someone to play the course so that tomorrow he can talk about it, and Tony will be able to do that. So that's why he's not here. So that means you take calls. And I said today's show is dedicated to Christian Yelich for the first time since he was nearly back-to-back MVPs, in which he has been an average player. I mention always about the stat I called OPS plus. You don't even have to know what it means, but it's a hitting stat, and the 2 years he was MVP, he was like 150 and 170. Since then, he's been around 100 or 110. Before the last 2 days this year, he was like 103. That's just average. And they're paying him a ton of money. And what happened was he stopped hitting home runs, and he certainly stopped hitting the ball as high as he was during those 2 years. The last 2 days, he's hit 3 home runs, and those 3 home runs have been hit. They call it launch angle, but you don't even have to know what it's called. Have been hit higher than the height he was hitting them when he's hitting so well. So now there is reason to be as positive about Christian Yelich returning to MVP level as ever before in the last 4 years. There's been no stretch like this before because he hasn't done it. He's had stretches where he hit the ball hard. And Pebble, why don't you put this up? Do you like Christian Yelich? Yes or no? Because I said everybody likes him. Everybody should be happy because you want him to do well. He's Giannis-like. And the only difference is how would you feel about Giannis if Giannis was just an average player? You'd still like Giannis, but you might be mad or irritated that they're paying him so much money to be average. And I don't know what stat they use that in the NBA, but imagine him making all the money he is, and then the MVP level just disappeared. Giannis, on the other hand, has certainly played at that level, maybe even a little bit higher. But, yeah, I want to watch the Brewers play tonight. And I would also tell you this. He won't keep hitting first if he keeps hitting like this. He'll bat second or third or wherever you want to put. He won't continue at first. He's been hitting at first because he never has any extra base hits, has no power. Now he shows power. He ain't hitting first much longer. That'll be to tell you right there. I'm curious to see if council might change that and moving him to number 2. I don't know who they could have as a leadoff hitter. 1-800-990-3776. Yes. Everybody should be happy. Even if you're not a Brewer fan, you should be happy that Christian Yelich, the MVP Christian Yelich, has returned. 1-800-990-3776. With no Tony Smith, I said, the old-fashioned sports talk radio, people call in. I probably wasn't nice enough to Jim was talking about the importance of a kicker and returning, kicking the ball in the end zone. Yeah, it's better if you kick her in the end zone, but if you have decent special teams kickoff return, keep them inside the 25 and you're fine. Am I willing to do that as a special teams coach in return for getting someone who makes field goals? Yes. And I want to give credit to the judge. I don't know if he'll call in. He said this is it's not a rebuild, it's a semi-rebuild, which is appropriate because they're rebuilding for like one season. But yeah, you can't. If you thought you were close to making the playoffs this year, you'd bring Mason Crosby back. He could be the difference in terms of unless you think he just totally lost it. But even if you think he totally lost it, you're going to have more faith in him than somebody else. You don't bring in a wide receiver, a veteran who could help it. Without having to spend a lot of money, you're going to do all the little things possible capable of getting you up to the playoffs. Their actions, Goody's actions, tell me that he doesn't. And that doesn't make him a bad GM. As I said, I don't think he's doing anything indicative of like this is a 5-year rebuild. We could put this up as a Discount Liquor Twitter poll question to add another one. Do you think David Bakhtiari wants to be traded? I know what I'm voting. Hell yes. I think this would be an indication of kind of a semi-rebuild. They want to have a very good left tackle to help Jordan Love in his first year. But that's about the only one that doesn't make sense in terms of the other things they're doing, which is a sign that if there's one thing that's a sign that it's not a rebuild at all, it's the fact that David Bakhtiari is coming back. So that's why I won't call it a total rebuild. I think, and I'm stealing this, the semi-rebuild is very good. But, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And I would assume that one of the reasons that also you wouldn't trade David Bakhtiari is that you're probably not going to get that much for him. And to have a strong left side or to have a strong left tackle in front of a Jordan Love would be good. Now, if it's a total rebuild, then you trade him, and then I guess you put Jenkins or whoever you're going to play at left tackle, you could put over there right away. And, again, you could use this year for the same reason that you're using this year for a different place kicker or for the young wide receivers. 1-800-990-3776. Pebble, do we have any callers?
We do not, Homer.
Man, this is the second concept I've had that's not working well. Do we have any text? 1-800-990-3776.
We have one text, Homer, and it was about your prize picks from earlier.
Yes.
And the 616 says, I actually hit 5 for 5 on prize picks 3 out of 4 times in a row, but then I lost 20 times in a row. But during that many winning streak, I made a quick $1,000.
All right, well, no. Hey, prove me wrong. Pebble, first of all, do I believe him?
Yes.
I don't. No, I don't.
No, you don't?
No. But I'm willing to give him consideration. I'll happily make him. Feel free to call in 1-800-990-3776. I'll be willing to give him a shot as our. I have a guy for everything. He'll be my parlay guy. I tell you, he's got to have a concept. Other than just being incredibly lucky, because what did he say? He hit 3 out of 4, 5?
He hit 5 for 5 on Prize Picks 3 out of 4 times.
3 out of 4 times. Now, my answer is sometimes I would think when people would go for 5, you would try it like with 3 different combinations. Do you know what I mean? So you're not really just doing one. You're doing like 3 different combinations where you think one of those 5, and if you hit any one of those 3, you would do really well. Ooh, our parlay guy. You know what I call our parlay guy?
What?
Mr. Broke. Because that's what you're going to be. All right, who do we have, pal?
We got Sean and Sim Prairie in the line, Homer.
All right, Sean, you're on 94.5 ESPN. Do you believe the parlay guy?
Hey, Homer, how's it going?
Living the dream.
I'm not a parlay guy.
Yeah, nobody should be a parlay guy. What do you mean?
I don't know.
Hey, I'll tell you this. Anybody that wants to anybody that wants to do parlay, I will be your bookie. We can't do it over the air. I'll be your bookie and give you better odds than what you can get. Whatever odds you can get somewhere else, I'll give you slightly better. You got to meet me at Ted's, and Kevin will be there. But yes, I will be the bookie for anybody who believes that they can win with parlays, and I will give you better odds than you get wherever you go. First of all, Pebble, am I in violation of anything for saying that?
Not really, because you're not doing it on the show.
Correct.
You're having somebody meet you at a neutral ground.
Right. And
not station related.
Right. Yeah, so I'm going to go look up at various sites to see the odds that you get for parlays, and I will give you better odds. And you know what they're going to call me in 6 months?
Mr.
Rich.
Parlay?
Rich.
Broke Homer.
Rich. And then it'll be like, Homer, how could you be so rude to people and use them like this? You know they're not going to win. You just took their money. How do you sleep at night? Very well. I told them it's impossible. They didn't listen to me. It's on them. So, if people want to start
Packers over 7.5.
Okay, you're going to play this as a parlay?
Give me the odds on that.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Packers.
That's the first leg.
Okay, all right, I got it. Okay.
And
now, what I want to know is I'll find out what you get on the parlay. Like, if you are you going to have 2, 3? Parlay to me doesn't count until 3.
This will be 2. This will be 2.
No, you got to have 3.
I will take.
No, you got to have 3. 2 is not a parlay.
Okay.
2 is a daily double.
All right.
2, you have a chance.
That's Prize Picks, isn't it? Technically.
Well, no, but that's what I tell people to do, and they never do it. Hold on. Very good, Sean. Let me clear up because this is good. In order to take advantage of Homer parlay odds, you have to play at least 3, and then I will find out what the odds are and improve it for you for 3 or more. Packers over 7.5.
Strictly for football. Let's take Minnesota winning the division.
Okay.
Which I think they're the favorite.
All right.
And then the Jets to win the AFC East.
Jets win their division as well. All right. I will call my guy because this will be separate.
Yeah.
Jay Kornegay is my guy in Vegas. I think he's still working there. And I will get his parlay odds for those 3, and then I will give you better odds. And we'll meet
This is a great
Ted's.
service, and this is all in theory, right? Until I see you at Ted's over the air?
Well, yeah, because, again, Pebble, if I violated anything, that's going to get me a suspension.
No, because you've not bet any money.
All right. But, again,
That's
the
true.
difficulty
We're talking hypothetical numbers.
Well, yeah, the difficulty with parlays is I have to have somebody who can combo that for those 3. I think whatever they are, if you hit 3, if you do 2, you bet 100 and you hit both of them, you win like 225 or something. I'll find out.
This is
we'll
great.
find out.
This is great.
Yeah.
And then the other note on David Bakhtiari, and I ran into him at the airport in Louisville during the Derby.
By the way, I want to let
Nicest guy
everybody
ever.
know I have a bias toward David Bakhtiari. I like everything about him. So good.
They were calling his name to meet the plane, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds familiar." And he ran over, and I said, "Hey, D-Bach," and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And couldn't have been nicer about it. He was trying to get a plane. I left him alone, but obviously at the Derby with A-Rod. But at that, I tried boxing in 2 horses just to show you how hard parlays are. Didn't hit on all of them.
No, please understand. What does Homer say gambling is? Gambling, people think it's like playing horse with Thanasis. No, it's like playing horse with LeBron James. Or maybe Giannis. Would it be better to compare Giannis and Thanasis? Probably, right? Yeah. It's really hard. So it's really hard to do it once correct. What are the chances that you get 3 or more correct? Sucker! All right, Sean, I'll give you the numbers. I'll look it up. Yes, Parlay Homer. I'm here to help. Who?
Excellent.
Me. Thanks, Sean. Next.
We've got actually a pretty good ride shaping up right now. Westbound 94, your usual delays right around 30th Street through the Stadium interchange. Southbound 41's getting a bit heavier as you're making your way down from about Silver Spring all the way down to about Burleigh, so heads up with that. We've also got southbound 43, a couple pockets of heavy traffic just south of Silver Spring down towards Hampton, and another one from Hampton to about Capitol Drive. Traffic is brought to you by James Imaging Systems, your local document imaging partner. Visit jamesimaging.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, mainly clear, low of 53. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and warm, a slight chance of showers in the evening, a high of 78, but turning much cooler in the afternoon. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
There's a race going on inside your body, and sometimes the bad guys, otherwise known as arthritis, get there first. That's when the joint pain kicks in.
Your healing process is just too slow and just can't catch up, and it needs just a little bit of help from QC Kinetics.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director.
We all know that you can heal yourself. If you get a cut, it heals on its own. Your joints are no different. We can take the healing properties from your blood, concentrate them down, and put them in the spot that you need the help. It's amazing. Your body can heal itself.
At QC Kinetics, that's called regenerative medicine. No surgery or steroids, just lasting relief, the natural way.
The fact that we can treat them without surgery, but using their own body's natural healing process, without medications, without steroids, without surgery, it's just amazing.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley are thrilled with their brand new Pella patio door.
It's like having a brand new kitchen. It's so bright, it's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
No drafts. Don't have to have any of those extendo cornhole bags anymore. It's a game changer.
I'm Gina Della from Pella, and if you order today, get 0% interest for up to 48 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we strive to always give the best possible quality of service. Our experts provide an in-home consultation where they'll listen to your needs and help choose the perfect products for your home, which can be customized to fit any decor. The installation is completed in as little as a day with no mess and no hassle, leaving nothing but perfect results. Order today and get 0% interest for up to 48 months at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Offer ends 5/31/2023.
Enjoy a world of street food fare in the largest tequila collection in town at Blue Bat Kitchen and Tequileria. Blue Bat is a destination for some of Milwaukee's best tacos, shareable appetizers, and margaritas in a fun environment right on the river in the historic 3rd Ward, serving up global flavors and good times 7 days a week. Blue Bat Kitchen will also turn your next party into a full-blown fiesta with an off-site catering taco bar. Visit Blue Bat Kitchen on Water Street or check out bluebatkitchen.com.
Experience the rebirth of an American treasure in Oconomowoc. The club at Lac La Belle is open. The redesigned course is one of Wisconsin's finest tracks at the heart of the Wisconsin Golf Trail. Named Best New Wisconsin Course in 2021 by Golf Digest. The club at Lac La Belle is open to the public 7 days a week. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. See what everyone is talking about. The club at Lac La Belle is a place to experience over and over again. Go to club@laclabelle.com to start your journey.
This is Homer and Tony live from Century World for Media Day at the U.S. Senior Open on 94.5 ESPN and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
The Hall of Famer Tony Smith is on assignment. I can tell you where he is today. He's right here where I am in Century World in Stevens Point. The 43rd U.S. Senior Open Golf Championship, which is going to be held June 29th to July 2nd, though Hank Thompson, the guy we called the president of the USGA, said it starts earlier than that, like the 27th, 28th. You can come for cheap and watch the players play. It's a great way to do it. Great way to save money, and you still get to watch them play, hit on the driving range. But as far as the event, I claim it'll be the greatest crowd ever for a U.S. Senior Open. They mentioned Omaha and Des Moines as the two that have had great crowds in the past. Not only are Wisconsin people great golf fans, but Steve Stricker and Jerry Kelly are two of the favorites. Anyway, Tony, the Hall of Famer, is playing on Media Day. I'm not playing because I wanted to do the show from here. And then tomorrow, the Hall of Famer, who is a very good golfer, can talk about the difficulty of the course, what it's like, and maybe where you should go if you're going to watch it, to which hole is the best. Their famous hole is the par 3 16th, which has flowers all over the place, like 8 million flowers or something. I'm not sure. 1-800-990-3776, because the Hall of Famer is on assignment, and I'm doing the show alone or with Pebble. Phone calls take on the rest of the show. We've had a few. It's been, I would say the concept is probably like a C-. 1-800-990-3776. I always thought that in old-fashioned sports, there's no rules as to what you can or can't talk about. You just call in, and I decide if you're any good, or Pebble does, and if we're bad, we give you the hook. If not, you get whatever topic you want to discuss. Again, I mentioned everybody should be watching the Brewers tonight. It is the most positive 2 games for Christian Yelich ever since he went into an average funk following his 2 MVP-level seasons. There was no reason to believe it could occur. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way they knew it was going to happen, where he started hitting home runs, 3 in the last 2 games, and launching the ball so high up in the air, which is exactly what he was doing when he had the MVP seasons. Now, he had the injury. That may have caused it, but you're talking like how many years? And the one thing he wasn't doing was hitting the ball up in the air. He was hitting the ball hard, and all of a sudden it came back the last 2 days. And everybody should be happy. But the question is it a fluke? Is it just a couple of days? Or you would hope that he would continue hitting the ball high, even if it's not a home run. If he continues to elevate it, and he, according to the numbers I heard from Brian Anderson, he is elevating it even more the last 2 days than he did when he was hitting all the home runs. So let's say the number was 20 is what he was hitting when he was hitting home runs. He was like at 5 or 6. In the last 2 days, he's been at 30. So I've said to people the last couple of years, if you can explain to the Brewers and Christian Yelich how to bring MVP Yelich back, they will pay you $5 million. And I believe they would have, but I'm not sure what happened. Because throughout the time you've heard all these things. Yeah, he's hitting the ball hard. He wasn't hitting it as high, and he wasn't hitting home runs. Now he hits home runs, and he hits it high. So I know no one knows why. Because if they knew why, they would have done it earlier than 4 years later. 1-800-990-3776. All I know is everybody should be happy, and everybody should be watching tonight to see what Christian Yelich does. And if it continues, how long it takes before Craig Counsell moves him from the leadoff. They're batting him leadoff because the only thing he was doing reasonably well was getting on base. There was no power. So that certainly has changed over the last 2 days. All right, Discount Liquor Twitter poll questions along with 1-800-990-3776. I know there are no callers because while I'm in Stevens Point, Pebble would tell me if they were. Yes, Parlay Homer, my new nickname. You like it, Pebble, or not?
It's got a nice ring to it, yeah.
Yeah. I can get rich taking money from suckers as well as anyone. That's right. You come up with your parlay, 3 bets or more. Come to Ted's. We'll make the bet there. I'll give you better odds than you can get anywhere else on a parlay. Why am I willing to do that? because I'm going to win. And if you're a big enough sucker to think you can win, why shouldn't I be the one getting the money? All of which I believe prevents me from being suspended because I'm not doing any of this over the air on the show.
Correct.
And if I am, then I'm blaming Pebble. He's going to get suspended too because he's given me the basic information that I can do this without getting in trouble. Are you willing to take that risk, Pebble?
I am not willing to take the risk, Homer, but as far as I know, you were not doing anything out of bounds.
I will not hold you responsible at all. All right, our Discount Liquor Twitter poll questions. I can't check because I haven't yet figured out how to monitor the video that we have on and also check calls. I'll work on that next time. All right, we got a number of them out there. See how we're doing.
I'll get to him, Homer. Here we got their first Discount Liquor Twitter poll question up. You can take the polls right now at Homer and Tony on Twitter, at ESPN Milwaukee on Twitter. Do you want Mason Crosby back on the Packers next season? Right now, 62% of the votes say no, 38% of the votes say yes. A comment from Chuck here says it's a money thing.
It's not that expensive is what I would tell you, but so be it. I think that everybody assumes it, but no, it's not. It's not that expensive. All right, 62% don't want Mason Crosby back. All right, question 2.
Yeah, do you like Christian Yelich was our second Discount Liquor Twitter poll question. 92% of the votes say yes, 8% say no as of right now.
Now, and that's amazing because he sucked for 4 years.
And a texted from Justin in the 920 says, is Yelich in a contract year?
Oh, heavens no. They got to pay him $26 million. You can look this up on baseball. I think they got to pay him for like 4 more years. Oh, no. Nice, good thought. That's the way you'd be thinking. That could happen. 92% like him. Giannis is at what, 96?
96 it was, yes.
Yeah.
And our third Discount Liquor Twitter poll question, do you think David Bakhtiari wants to be traded? Right now, 70% of the votes say yes, 30% say no. From Gregory, he says yes, but he also knows it's basically impossible with the dead cap hit it would create.
Yeah, I'll have to check on the cap person.
And then a text here from Stephen West Ben says, Homer, regarding the Packers, it feels like they think this offseason is a QB and receiver reload as opposed to a team rebuild. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, they can't think it's a reload because if you thought it was a reload, you would do things, little things, that would give you a chance to make the playoffs. And they're not willing to do those things. So it means that it's not a rebuild, but it's a semi-rebuild. No, you can't. You're trying to cover up. So we're going to be right. We're going to be right on the edge of making the playoffs. Well, then you better have a veteran quarterback in case Jordan Love gets hurt. You can't have him getting hurt for a game. That could cost you the game. You need to re-sign Mason Crosby. You can't have a young kicker. He might lose a game, and that could keep you from making the playoffs. And wide receiver, a veteran to have that you might need on a big third down play like a Randall Cobb, you need to have that. If it's going to be the end of your roster, it's not going to be that expensive. Those are 3 little things that you would do if you think you're going to be close. If you don't think you're going to be close, you're not going to do those things. But it's not like they're just tanking the team and they're going to be bad for 5 years. I think they believe that in a year they'll be back to contending, and then they might do some of those things. By that second year, 2024, the young kicker might be better. By 2024, you'll find out if the big red dog, Clifford, is any good, or maybe you have the option of moving on, and the younger players, the younger wide receivers, might be, would be better, and then you can decide what you need to do, the little things that you would do when you think you're close to making the playoffs. They're not doing any of those. And I don't really care what Goody says. It's not too hard to figure out. But I'm not – the reason, and I give credit to Judge Frank, the reason I'm not willing to say rebuild is because I don't really think that they believe the team is that bad, and I don't either. I believe they're reasonably close. But Goody can't think they're really close, or he would have done those things we've talked about. I don't know how I can make this bet, but not going with Mason Crosby and going with a young kicker is going to cost you a game. That might be a Discount Liquor Twitter poll question we'll do tomorrow. Going with a young kicker instead of Mason Crosby will cost you 0, 1, 2, or 3 games. Go ahead and put that one up, Pebble. I like that. Going with a young kicker instead of Mason Crosby this season will cost you 0, 1, 2, or 3 games. I lean toward 1. 1-800-990-3776. One more segment for the callers to make it a good idea to bring back old-fashioned sports talk radio. Next.
Full show podcasts, interviews, and special content is available right now at WisconsinOnDemand.com. This is Homer and Tony on 94.5 ESPN. Even when you think you know what's going on.
Not to be a Richard here, but we just invested in these robots that flip burgers.
You can never be too sure.
I'm sorry, what?
They flip burgers. Yeah.
Why? You know, my biggest fear on this planet is the robot revolution.
Yeah. Packers, nonsense, chaos.
And here you are. I thought you were my friend.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, morning 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increased cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
This is going to be interesting, so pay attention.
Mountains and trees. Ducks and hunting dogs. Dinosaur bones. Meteorites. Steel that's carved like the leather stirrups on a Western saddle. Damascus steel, like they make swords out of. Carbon fiber. Hardwood.
Manly things.
Hardwood. You already said that. I know. I just like the sound of it. Hardwood. It does have a nice ring to it.
Ring. I see what you did there.
I'm sorry. I got us off track.
Kessler's has wedding bands for men.
Real men.
Made of manly things.
He wants you to wear a big, beautiful diamond so that everyone you meet will know how much he loves you.
Why not insist that he wear something equally cool?
You'll tell your grandkids about the day you went shopping for this wedding band at Kessler's when they ask,
"Where did you get such a cool ring? And what is it made of?"
Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kessler's nearest you,
go to KesslersDiamonds.com.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
They put themselves in harm's way for us. They sacrifice time with their loved ones for us. They are our heroes. That's why we at Ewald Automotive proudly salute those who serve and are brave first responders. Thank you for all you do. We're offering service members and their families the benefits of our Military Advantage program with special pricing and incentives on every vehicle. Plus, all month long, we'll donate to local military and first responder charities for every car sold. Go to ewaldauto.com.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Homer and Tony on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand or wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
One 1-800-990-3776 if you want to participate in the last segment of old-fashioned sports talk radio, which clearly has no future. It's So it's probably a good idea that everybody else has said, take some texts and that's it. Nobody calls in because they don't have to wait to call in or don't want to. When everything you do now, you don't have to wait. Just text. Want to thank Hank Thompson from the USGA. Only Pebble remembers what his title was. I'm more interested in telling everybody he's the president of the USGA. So someone will ask him that if they come to the U.S. Senior Open here at Century World in Stevens Point in late June. 27th is Tuesday. Tournament starts 29th to Thursday and concludes on July 2nd. What was his title again? Something.
Championship director?
Yeah, that'll work. I can't remember. It's not a huge. It's not like being president. But we should have known that he was not the president of the USGA. You know why, Pebble?
Why is that?
No way he'd be on this show.
Too big time?
Yes. President of the USGA is too big time for this show. I don't know what the other big times. Probably too big time to show up for the media day, too, for the U.S. Senior Open. And when it comes out, Jerry Kelly and Steve Stricker will be two of the heavy favorites to win it. Stricker has already won. He won another senior event, another Masters senior event last week. Just crushed everyone. Treated it like it was miniature golf. And so he's won a number of majors on the senior, never a regular tour, but he will be the heavy favorite when it's played late June 29th, July 2nd. Tickets are available at USSeniorOpen.com. It's really a great deal because the average golfer would be better off to watch seniors play than regular tour players because they don't swing as fast, and it's a swing that you're probably more likely to copy or try to copy and have some success. And they still hit the ball a ton, which would show you that you'll watch them swing and go, that guy hit that 300 yards? He didn't even swing hard. Well, there's probably something to be learned there, but I'm not your golf coach, so I'm not going to go any further on that. Just go to USSeniorOpen.com, and if you're cheap like me, and yes, I wasn't kidding. On the way up here, I saw Aldi. I always got to check out Aldi because I'm wondering in each market what people buy that's cheap. And so if you want to go to the Senior Open and cheap and still watch the players Tuesday or Wednesday, it's almost free. That would be my suggestion. 1-800-990-3776. Discussing and stealing it from our judge that the Packers should be viewed as a rebuild, but a semi-rebuild. Rebuild would mean that the team stinks and they're going to be bad for a long time, and that would be wrong. I don't think the team stinks. We'll have Tony go, I don't think Goody stinks. The problem with Goody would be more that he's probably closer to average. It doesn't matter. You can be average as long as your quarterback selection is great, which was certainly the case with Ted Thompson. Ended up getting him a Super Bowl. Now we'll see what happens with Jordan Love. Using a young kicker instead of Mason Crosby will cost the Packers how many games? Mason Crosby would probably be the easiest way to help your team if you thought you were close to the playoffs. He's not coming back, which tells me that Goody knows they're not that close, and he's in this semi-rebuild and is doing everything, I think, so that in 2024 he feels like they can make the playoffs. I mean, they could shock the world and do it, but that people need to understand. It would be shocking the world, and it would surprise Goody because otherwise Goody would be doing some things differently than he's doing right now. And wanted to be kicker. All right, Pebble, do we have enough votes? The number of games that Packers will lose because they're using a young kicker instead of Mason Crosby, 0, 1, 2, or 3. I'm guessing 1 is going to win.
You're right on the money, Homer. But it's close. It's a close vote right now. Going with a young kicker this season instead of Mason Crosby will cost the Packers how many games? Right now, 1 is leading the way with 35% of the vote, 0 at 29% of the vote, 2 at 20%, and 3 or more at 16%.
All right. No, the question is, the that would determine if you'd be willing to pay the extra money, because certainly Mason Crosby's going to ask the extra money. But then the problem is, if Mason Crosby's good, I think you figure he's good for one more year. Then the following year, when you think with this semi-rebuild you'll be back to running for the playoffs, now we got a young kicker. We don't know anything about him. Wouldn't it be better off to figure that out this year? And then the following year, when our team is going to be better, the young receivers will be better, Jordan Love will be better, then why risk having an unknown kicker then? Have the unknown kicker now so you can find out how good he is, find out how good he might be, and take it from there. 1-800-990-3776. Again, on location. 43rd U.S. Senior Open Championship, at Century World. Yep, at Century World in Stevens Point. You go to ussenioropen.com to buy tickets. If you're cheap like me, I'd probably get tickets for Tuesday or Wednesday, or maybe on Sunday, because you'd kind of like to be here if Steve Stricker and or Jerry Kelly won a U.S. Senior Open Championship. I don't even know that he plays golf. In addition to, make sure you watch the Brewers tonight and find out if the MVP, Christian Yelich, has returned. Doesn't even have to hit home runs, but he's got to hit some high fly balls, which is what he did the last 2 days. Even though I don't think do you even play golf?
I do not know.
You do not, but Pebble was smart enough to know the oldest winner of the U.S. Senior Open is 57, because the choices were 57, 60, and 63. And I hope it wasn't a reflection of me losing it, but he said, hey, you get older, you just lose it. And as a matter of fact, you're eligible now at the age of 50. It used to be 55. That the oldest winner is 57, and that was, 17 years ago. It's exactly what Pebble said. In any senior events, find out the youngest possible in that senior event and take Ute every time. Pebble, do you think Yelich is going to hit a home run tonight, huh? What do you think?
I think not. No, I don't think he will.
I'm with you on that. I just want a couple of high fly balls. I just want him hitting it high like he did in the MVP season. Think of this. A huge disappointment in playing and in the cost, and 92% still like Christian Yelich. Not at 96 for Giannis, but Yelich has been stinking for 3 years and still 92% like him. Close from Century World in Stevens Point. Next.
I don't have to do nothing but stay black and die. White people!
I will bet anybody.
I can't do it. We'll do it live! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live! Thing sucks!
We've got westbound 94 slowing down just a bit from about 20th Street through the Stadium interchange. So be careful with that. Give yourself a little bit of extra time. Right now, downtown to the zoo is up to about a 9-minute ride. We've also got some delays